The following video will contain content meant for mature audiences, so if I hear you laugh at the word booty once, I'm afraid you'll have to leave. Hi everybody, this is TUSDarryl and welcome to my review of Control, a game that can be as confusing as it is a whole lot of what? But don't worry, I'll do my best to describe the game in the best way possible without spoiling too much, if at all. So I hope you like the color red, because you're about to see a lot of it. Let's start with the story. You play as Jesse Faden, a civilian, on a personal quest to infiltrate the FBC, Federal Bureau of Control, in hopes to find her brother Dylan, who she was separated from during a freak accident in their hometown, Ordinary. Armed with the service weapon and some telekinetic powers, Jesse explores the labyrinth of the oldest house in search of answers, as the world, both figuratively and literally, turns on its head. Speaking of heads, let's turn ours over here and take a look at the graphics. What you're seeing right now is the game running on mostly medium settings on my computer. Now, why would I point that out? Because if this is how the game looks on medium settings, then God knows how awesome it would look on the highest settings. I'm talking about max. I was blown away by the striking minimalist style of the game. Large rooms have mostly one or two colors with plenty of stuff to keep the rooms from feeling empty. The attention to detail as though people were working one moment and suddenly disappeared another. Dare I say, trippy presentation of the cutscenes, some of the cutscenes, that make them more interesting than they have any right to be. It just works. Yes, I also know the meme. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, since besides Jesse and some of the other recurring characters, any extras just chilling in the hub areas look passable at best and out of place at worst. In regards to animation, it's overall very fluid, but some of the NPCs have relatively robotic movements as though they're pretending to look busy without actually putting effort into the act. Jessie herself even has an awkward animation where if you're holding an object with your telekinesis and you jump, she continues to run forward and simply moves upward, if that makes sense. Like think about how in Minecraft, when you just float upwards in creative mode, there's no real animation for it. You kind of just float up. That's kind of what she does to an extent. It's jarring when you consider how well she moves throughout the environment and in combat in general. That said, it makes for some pretty good laughs. Overall, the game has fantastic presentation, looks beautiful, and oozes style to boot. But there are some very noticeable oversights here and there too, but that doesn't really hinder the game too much, it's just noticeable. Moving on to sound.
Okay, now I have a gun.
Director. Keep the Bureau safe.
Did you hear that? It's the dead man. Right after the pyramid spoke to me, and it was just noise, and I understood every word. It's the dead man.
It's downright creepy, in a good way. Oftentimes I wondered if Control was meant to be a horror game at some point, with how often you're left in silence with only ambience and the occasional nonsensical whispers of the hiss, the enemy of the game. Sounds are distinct and often sparse, so it's easy to pick up on what's happening around you and where. The droning and occasionally synthy-ish music also adds to this effect. You just never feel comfortable. You just don't. Even after you've cleared a room, and it's great. I like that feeling. For this kind of game, at least. Speaking of music, there's some awesome rock tracks in the game too. Even a track from a very familiar group if you pay attention enough. But I'm gonna leave it at that for sound. Let's fly on over to the gameplay. Control is a superpowered third-person shooter. What do I mean by that? Well, take a character like Lara Croft and give her the ability to levitate. That was a car. That was a car again. That was a car. Someone is honking their horn up the street. I hope you guys heard that. Otherwise, I'm crazy. Anyway, where am I going with this? Right. Take a character like Lara Croft and give her the ability to levitate, launch objects with her mind, and essentially force push enemies away, and you'll know what I mean. Alternatively, you could just give Jean Grey, if you're familiar with her, a gun, and you'll get the same picture. The gunplay is a lot of fun and very satisfying, though in my case it was a little frustrating since I didn't play with aim assist on, and I was using a controller, obviously, but that's on me. What can you do, you know? Anyway, throw in the fact that when you run out of ammo, you can just say, you see that gas canister over there? I'm gonna throw it. And you can do just that. The amount of abilities you have at your disposal are decent and provide a great way to vary up combat. Though you can possibly miss some of these abilities if you don't do some of the side quests that unlock them, so be sure to do side quests often for new abilities and control points to upgrade your passive abilities and utilities. If you're wondering why I sound a little raspy towards the end of my sentences here and there, I just ate and I did not drink any water. I have water next to me, but I'm an idiot and didn't grab it yet. The game also features some platforming down the line, but it's nothing to write home about. It's just a means to an end, mostly, and not the core experience. If I did have one thing that did frustrate me a bit in regards to gameplay, it's that the checkpoint system isn't great. Let's say you start at I almost said Flashpoint. Flashpoint Paradox, great DC film. Watch it. Anyway, let's say you start at a fast travel point. This is why you don't record at this time of night. Anyway, yes, there is fast travel. And you go through 3 rooms of enemies without getting to another one. Then you fall off of a ledge, or get killed by an enemy or something. Most likely, you'll start over 3 rooms back. On top of that, the loading times can be pretty long, depending on how far you are from the last checkpoint. So you can either have a very short load time or a pretty lengthy long time. Again, this is why you don't. If you were to record a review, do not record it when it's almost 11 o'clock at night. If you're not used to that stuff, just don't. It's for your own good. Just go to sleep. That's what I should be doing right now, going to sleep. Anyway, back to the review. That said, the loading times will vary, and the only times you'll see them is during specific transitions and after you die in the game. Finally, I think it's time to give my final verdict on Control, so here goes. I'm going to be blunt and say that this game is a go for it. There's no point in tiptoeing around that. I highly enjoy Control and will be playing the DLCs for it at a later date. If I feel as though there is anything in the DLCs that is worth mentioning, I'll bring it up in an update video or in a discussion video. Control is available for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the PC, specifically Steam and the Epic Store. It will also be available on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. I hate that name, by the way. And now, I'm afraid we must part. But I hope you do. I hope you do. I hope you did do. I hope you enjoyed your stay. I'm TUSDarryl. Thank you for watching. And remember, it's not a lake. It's an ocean. Bye.